Hello, second grade leaders. Today I'm going to be reading to you from the Miraculous Journey of Edward Tulane by Kate DiCamillo. This was the read aloud we started in class right before we went on break. So to just catch us up or recap really quickly, we left Edward when he was on the ship with Abilene, who's his owner, and he had just been tossed overboard into the water. Before we begin to read today, though, I want to remind you that one of the things we kept talking about was Edward's emotions and how he really didn't have a lot of emotion. And if he did, it was usually one of annoyance or frustration. And remember, we talked about his personality and that he's a little bit into himself. He doesn't really care about others. So we're going to see if anything changes now as he's being tossed overboard. Perhaps he'll experience a different emotion today. It starts with, how does a China rabbit die? Can a China rabbit drown? Is my hat still on my head? These were the questions that Edward asked himself as he went sailing out over the blue sea. The sun was high in the sky, and from what seemed to be a very long way away, Edward heard Abilene call his name. "Edward!" she shouted. "Come back!" Come back? Of all the ridiculous things to shout, thought Edward. As he tumbled ears over tail through the air, he managed to catch one last glimpse of Abilene. She was standing on the deck of the ship, holding onto the railing with one hand. In her other hand was a lamp. No, it was a ball of fire. No, Edward realized. It was his gold pocket watch that Abilene held in her hand. She was holding it up high, and it was reflecting the light of the sun. My pocket watch, he thought. I need that. Notice he's not thinking about missing Abilene yet, just about his pocket watch. And then Abilene disappeared from view, and the rabbit hit the water with such tremendous force that his hat blew off his head. That answers that question, thought Edward, as he watched his hat dance away in the wind. And then he began to sink. He sank and sank and sank. He kept his eyes open the whole time, not because he was brave, but because he had no choice. His painted-on eyes witnessed the blue water turning to green, and then to blue again. They watched as it finally became black as night. Here's a picture of Edward sinking into the deep blue ocean, and you can see the ship is continuing on its way. Edward went down and down. He said to himself, if I'm going to drown, certainly I would have done so by now. Far above him, the ocean liner with Abilene aboard it sailed blithely on, and the China rabbit landed, finally, on the ocean floor, face down. And there, with his head in the muck, he experienced his first genuine and true emotion. Ooh, this is a big part. Edward Tulane was afraid. So we're going to leave Edward today lying on the ocean floor, feeling his first emotion, which is fear. Tomorrow we'll pick up on chapter 7. I hope to see you then. Bye.